Jewel of the Seas, my friends, and what an incredible 14 nights of adventure it's about to be. This video, this tour is about to take you, first of all, to explore the suite life and particularly the grand suite on board this beautiful vessel. She's very special to me, as you know, because she was my very first ever cruise ship in my life back in 2006. Jewel of the Seas used to be then brand new. She was about 2 years old. I was much younger, but here we are, me and her, more senior, more, let's say, aged well. But I'm here to share with you a lot of information about what to expect from suites, how Grand Suites looks like, how is it to do 14 days of 4 back-to-backs, which is basically 3 and 4 nights, all of them. What's the process, my recommendation, what to take, where not to take, how to choose your suite, and much more. As always, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, but grab something nice to drink, perhaps something to snack. Let's begin. I'm going to begin with this entrance way, and I'm going to explore with you guys everything. I'll show you some things that actually made the suite a little bit different. But let's start, of course, with the door, with the map. I'll show you where we are. This is suite number 1048. Let me remove the reflection here. And we are located where this red dot is. It is very central located. Right here. It's very close to the elevators. Few rooms down from the main central lobby. So there's no much walking to that room. Let's turn around, see everything to expect when you open the door. This is your first impression when you enter to this grand suite. As you know, this is probably one of my favorite categories of suites on board Royal Caribbean, simply because of the size, layout, and value for it. But let's explore everything we have. First of all, we have, of course, this entrance. And in the entrance, we can see that we have this marble floor, tile floor. It's very nice to have this hard floor in when you enter from the beach, maybe Coco Cay or something like that. And instead of being in your bedroom area, you first of all in this kind of like entryway. We have this, I call it dry bar right at the entrance. We explore that. But across from it, we have your main closet for storage with 3 huge mirrors. This, of course, makes this whole room feels a little bit more spacious, but also allows you to kind of get ready before a night out and to see yourself from every angle. Let me open the doors for you. Hi, friends, and I'll show you what's inside. So first of all, when you open it, there is a light, so it's pre-lit area. On the top shelves, we have the life jackets. As you can see, in this one we have 4 of them, which means that this suite can accommodate 4 guests. Now, of course, you get the 2 bathrobes here for the suite guests, but you also get, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is something new or actually came back finally again to Royal Caribbean. You also get slippers. Let me show you those. I think it's a his and hers or larger and smaller size of slippers, engraved with Royal Caribbean logo, and kind of like rubbery sole. That's very nice. Thank you, Royal Caribbean, for bringing those back. I remember them being in back in the day, and for a very long time they were not with us, but nice to have it back. Regardless, this whole space has a lot of hanging area. As you can see, it's very wide space. If the one bar on the top is not enough, we do have 2 additional those drop down bars that you can drop right here and extend your space for storage. Now, one thing that we have, again, that nowadays is really missing, is this tiny bar on the side, and I actually do enjoy to have this because you can put your, for gentlemen or ladies, maybe your belts, maybe your ties if you doing the formal nights, or, you know, small stuff that actually can be hung separately. Let's close this door and this one as well, and I'll show you the 3rd door right here. Of course, additional mirror. Hello there. Let me open it for you. And in here we have 2 shelves. So on the top one, we actually have additional 2 life vests. I'm wondering if this room's supposed to accommodate more than 4, but I'm not sure actually where. Interesting. Okay, so we have 2 life vests over there. We have a safe over here. The safe is an interesting size. I think this one was replaced, so this is probably not the original one. I would say it actually can maybe accommodate your laptop, but you will probably need to stand it inside. It can be on its side, it cannot be flat. Now underneath those two shelves we have additional hanging area. And excuse my stuff, but since I was moving between the rooms, my personal belongings are already there. But that's additional storage and hanging space for you. Moving around, you can see this door right there. This is the bathroom. We'll keep it for a little bit later. But let's explore this dry bar. So as you can see, the dry bar has this marble top, which I really enjoy because you can safely put some stuff on it without being afraid that, you know, you're gonna damage the furniture. They also have those rounded shelves right underneath. I enjoy those to put my small stuff if I purchase something from the ports, maybe some commemorative stuff. I don't know, maybe some things to put there before you go to the beach, not to forget, you know, things like that. And we of course have additional doors here. Now, the one furthest away door right here, this is actually where your cooler or your mini fridge is hiding. It's right there. If we open it, this is basically your small, tiny mini fridge. It's nice to have that. And there's one shelf right and above it. I'm not sure what you can store here, but it's kind of like narrow, but there is a shelf right there. There is the door right next to it with additional two shelves, and I will say those are pretty deep. So there's quite a lot of things you can store inside of that. And those two there's to the right of it, actually hiding behind them. Let me open it. It's kind of I call it the hidden dresser. So we do have those drawers behind those two doors. We have total of 8 drawers, plenty of storage. They're all identical in size. As you can see, it's about that. I'll put my arm inside so you can see. Very spacious, yeah. 8 of those, plenty of space for you to store your personal stuff. Let's explore above the counter, above the dry bar. First of all those things that you see here are part of the welcome and the amenities that you get, both as a suite guest and as a Crown and Anchor guest. And you know what? Let's just go and explore them. So first of all, you of course get some, well, let's start from right here. Every suite gets this bottle of Avian water right there. It's a pretty large bottle. The wine that you see, it's part of the amenities that you can choose with Crown and Anchor Society, depends on your level. We also, as you can see, have some shelving here. It's 1, 2, and 3. And on the third one, as you can see, we have this ice bucket with some 2 glasses. And of course, you can ask your room attendant, they will refill it, replenish the ice as needed. Now, right next to those shelves, we have our coffee/tea corner. And you guys know me. I'm very excited as always for Mara Lavazza or any really espresso maker. So you have your espresso maker in the room. Of course, those come with Lavazza pods. This is a regular one. We do have another one. This is the decaffeinated one. If you are a tea person, you have some options there as well. Some bags with creamer and stuff like that. Sugar, brown sugar, sugar substitutes, and you know, all those good stuff. So it's very, very nice to have this in your room because sometimes you just want to wake up, not to speak to room service, not to pre-order your breakfast, just to enjoy your cup of espresso or coffee or tea in your room, and this is definitely where you can do it. Now, right next to it is where they placed the waters. Again, those waters are part of the welcome gifts that you get for Crown and Anchor, as well as this very cute fruit platter. Nothing too fancy, but I do enjoy those. So we have the fruit platter. Again, it's a very, I would say, simple set, but very nice and welcoming when you open your door initially to the suite to be welcomed with some nice amenities for your stay. Okay, so we're done with the welcome area. Let's explore the rest. Let's start with showing you how your living room looks like, because you remember this room is called the 1-bedroom grand suite. So as you can see, I'm facing right now the living area of this suite. We do have a 3-seater sofa, which is also convertible for a queen-size sofa, and we do have 2 armchairs on both sides. Those are, I mean, on the older side because the ship is kind of an older, but they're still very comfortable. They're in good condition. That's very nice. We do have coffee table right here, 2 side tables on each side of your sofa with one lump on just this side, because on the other side, as you can see, is where you can find your TV. The TV, I will say, it's about maybe 43, maybe 47, but let's say somewhere between 43 and 50 inch or so for this room. The TV is swiveling, so you can turn it either straight towards the bedroom or watch it from the living space. I will say though, you cannot really enjoy the TV directly from your sofa because the TV is located next to the sofa. Let me turn you this way so you can see a little bit better perspective of this living space. Now I will mention that the coffee table as well as the side tables looks on the newer side, so I would assume that maybe during one of the renovations or refurbishments of the ship, those were replaced, and they do feel fresh and in good condition. Some, minor wear and tear here and there, but they're still in a very good condition. On this side, right next to the left of your sofa, we can find a few basically of the outlets right there on the floor. Now there is one European outlet, and then that's where you plug your lamp, and one US outlet which is available. That's the outlet where you will be using your coffee maker, so you basically will plug it right there. But when you don't use the coffee maker, this is definitely something you can use to charge your personal items next to your sofa in the living room, so this is very nice. Now, on the very other side of the sofa, we have some more charging ports. As you can see right here, we have 2 European and 1 US, not used by any devices, so they're all open for you to use and enjoy on your cruise. Now we'll turn you towards this side and we will reveal the bedroom area. This is our bedroom in this 1-bedroom grand suite. I probably show you those before in other videos, and I can show you here if you would like. Let me do that. This curtain right here, this is how you separate your bedroom space from your living space. We will basically pull this curtain on along, and I will not do it all the way just so you can see it, but I will step aside so you can see that. This is basically how you separate your living space from your bedroom space. Again, it will not be fully soundproof or, as you know, completely private, but you will not be able to see through that, and it actually divides the room into 2 and gives you some privacy if you share in the space with other people. Okay, so the curtain is back open. Let's explore the bedroom. The bed is set for what Royal calls the Royal King, which is basically 2 twin beds pushed together to make this king-size bed. If you don't wish to share your bed with your significant other or whoever you travel with, you can always ask your room attendant, and they basically will push the nightstands in between those beds. They will go a little bit further apart and you can have some privacy. Now, as far as storage goes, let me show you on this side. We do have those nightstands on each side of the bed. Of course, we have marble countertop. This is a suite. And we do have 2 drawers. They're not on the biggest side, but it's very nice to have next to your bed. This is the side of the size and depth of your drawer, and we have, of course, 2 of those. Now let me take you to the other side, and I will show you where you find the phone in the suite. Your phone is right here on the side. As you can see, you have additional, the side table, the nightstand on this side. Same drawers, everything is the same. Your phone is right here. They even give you paper and pencil and another lamp, of course. You do have on each side this feature right here, which is basically your reading light. It's cute. I mean, if you want just to have the reading light on each side, you can use that. So you can turn off the big light, as you can see, and still remain with the reading light. So yeah, that's very nice to have, especially if you share in this space with somebody else and you don't want to disturb them. Now, right next to the side of your bed, you have your desk or vanity, or however we're gonna call it. This suite, unlike on other ships, actually doesn't come with an actual chairs, but it actually has an ottoman. As you can see, the ottoman is pushed right underneath this desk. I'll move it for you. It's a little bit on a heavy side, but it's cute. It's kind of like this flower shape. It's very nice. I'm sure it's great for getting ready before night out. I personally miss the chair because I work behind those desks, and it would be nice to have a chair here instead of this ottoman. But at the same time, I will say that because it's just an ottoman and can be pushed all the way underneath this desk, it actually creates the space between the bed and the desk much wider than I've been in other grand suites. So let's explore this desk. The desk again has this marble top. This is a theming that returns over and over in this suite. We have again quite a few mirrors here. We have one mirror here, hello. We have another mirror here, and we have another mirror here. And if those are not enough, you also have a magnifier mirror right there. Hello, you can even see me right there moving. But there's a lot of mirrors here, friends. You can get ready. It's very well pre-lit. As you can see, we have one here, one here. There's another light right above you. So this is very, very nice. Now there's also quite a lot of storage here. Each mirror hides behind it, and let me open it for you, additional storage place. There's basically one huge shelf right there, a smaller one in the middle, and another one below. Identical storage will be exactly on the other side, but if that's not enough, we have some more. Underneath the desk, we have, of course, two drawers right here. The first one right here, with some reading material from Park West. There is also additional drawer right here, and this is where you will find your breakfast menu. This is what you actually hang in every night if you would like to receive a breakfast in a certain time. You have your breakfast menu, and on the other side you have your room service menu. Those are all the included stuff with your suite. And as you can see, you also have option to pre-stock your minibar. Now, as you saw, the minibar does not come pre-stocked, but for additional fee, you definitely can do that. And as you can see, they offer quite a few things. There's waters, there's soft drinks, there's sport and energy drinks, 12 packs, 4 packs, 8 packs. Depends on, of course, your will and budget. Now, on the sides of the desk, we do have, again, additional storage. We do have 3 drawers right there. They're pretty all standard and identical in size, all but one, which is this. If I open this one, this is kind of like a fake one because it opens the whole thing. This is where you will find your hairdryer. So for those who need that, your hairdryer is right there. They also put their napkins right there, but underneath we have 2 additional drawers, a little bit more standard size, just about so, but we have 2 of those. On the other side, we have very similar setup, just without the hairdryer. It is right here. But over here, the difference is that those 2 are actually separated, and the top one can be extended for basically an extension of your desk if you need to put something on the side. Now I want to show you how the suite looks like from this angle, which is basically when you are looking at everything from your bedroom area. So say you're waking up in the morning, you are in your bed, this is your view. And as you can see, first of all, we have this very wide opening. We basically have 2 windows facing your balcony. Now, I will mention that the portion that is the closest to your bedroom is just a window, no doors, nothing. It looks like a door, but it's just a window, you can open it. While the other opening behind the armchair, this is actually where you exit to your balcony. This is a door. We'll explore this in a second, but before that, I want again to turn you this way, and we will go ahead and explore our bathroom. As I'm heading towards the bathroom, first of all, there's again additional mirror. As I mentioned before, there's quite a few mirrors in this room, so there's additional one right here next to your bathroom door. Now, the bathroom door is actually also where you will find your thermostat. Let me show you it right here. It's pretty basic, kind of like, it's not a digital one, but this is your thermostat. Ladies and gentlemen, I also will show you that right above the door, for safety reason, there is this light right there, the tiny one, and you just need to be aware that at night, when all the lights are off and it's dark, if somebody wants to go to the bathroom or use the bathroom, then of course this light will turn on automatically just for your safety, so you can enter the bathroom safely. So let's go ahead and open the door and see what the bathroom offers. This is our Grand Suite bathroom. Again, this is not the newest ship, but I will say this is one of my favorite bathroom layouts on board the cruise line. First of all, we do have a double sink right there. We have lots of storage underneath. We have a huge mirror above it, pre-lit. And one thing I really enjoyed, that right here, we do have this long countertop, hello again, with a huge mirror behind, which makes this whole space, again, very, very spacious, at least visually. But according to any standards in a cruise industry, this bathroom is very, very spacious. Of course, this is also where you will find your commode. So my friend is right there. And this is, again, your vanity. This is your sinks, and everywhere will you get ready every morning. Now, those mirrors, again, hiding behind them additional storage. Let me open it for you. We do have 4 shelves right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And additional identical one we will have right here on this side. Now, what you can see in front of you, those are actually the upgraded amenities for the suite guests. The Melanin Goats is the chosen product for Royal Caribbean as of right now. This is the body moisturizer. And of course you have the hand soap, the peppermint bar soaps. One thing that they started actually giving in every suite is the vanity kit, which is very nice. Again, it's pretty basic. You still can see those in most hotels you probably go to. But Royal Caribbean did not used to offer those for quite some time, so it's very nice to see those back. Now, let me turn you this way. And as you can see, we do have a curtain here. Yes, I know, it's a curtain, not a personal fan of curtains either. But again, give her some grace, she is a little bit older lady, so we still have a curtain. But behind this curtain, let me open it for you, we do have a full-size tub. This is very, very nice, and again, not something to be taken for granted on cruise ships. So we do have a tub. It's a very deep, so you can easily enjoy and soak some, have some soaking time and enjoy relaxation time in this tub. We have our handheld shower right there. And of course, some additional amenities from Melanin Goets, which is the shampoo, the shower gel, and of course, the hair conditioner. Another differential thing from this suite, from another suites, is the shower head. I will say that all of those suites that have been those 2 weeks here, every one of them had pretty much different shower head, and I'm sure that they probably maintain in the ship, and as it needed, they've been replaced. But this is probably the least impressive one I had among all of those suites, and most of other ones it actually was kind of like massage shower head. Now, this is of course safety bar, and if I turn you around within the shower, this is also where you have additional rack for towels. Speaking about the rack, we also have this, of course, extendable rod here, right there, where you can basically, dry your bathing suits or anything you might need. So yeah, this is very, very spacious area. Well, friends, from the bathroom to the living room, you know me, let's explore one of my favorite spots on any ship, which is the balcony. Let me open for you this curtain. And we will slide the door. And now we are on our balcony. So, first of all, any balcony has 2 sun chairs. Those are right here for you to enjoy. It's pretty wide. I'll go all the way here so you can see the other side. And on the other side, we do have a dining table with 2 armchairs, easily accommodating 2. I'm pretty sure it can accommodate more, but I don't see any chairs. Perhaps you can ask your room attendant if they could add additional ones if you are more than 2 people who would like to enjoy your breakfast. But yeah, this is our balcony. Now I am still in Fort Lauderdale, so this is the view that we currently have from the port. I do enjoy to live from here. It's a very beautiful port, Port Everglades. And we of course have the reflection right there. Not sure why today she's standing on this side instead of the regular Terminal 25, which is actually available. Maybe something's going on there. But yeah, this is very, very nice view. Well, I hope you enjoyed the suite tour. I'm actually still in the suite, as you see, and I still enjoying it. As you all know, Grand Suites are probably my sweet spot on Royal Caribbean as far as the suite goes, simply because, again, this is probably the best value for money that you can get. because basically this grand suite allows you the access for all those benefits the suite gives you. The size is perfect if you're one, of course. If you're a couple, or even a little bit more than that, it's still a very, very spacious suite, very spacious room. I love the bathroom, I love the balcony. This is very, very nice. So just to, because there's a lot to talk about, and I actually made some list here for you guys not to forget things I want to talk about, but let's start with something that is very important, which is the suite location. When we're talking about the suite location, you all know that during those 14 days, unfortunately, I was not able to secure one suite for all of them. So I actually had to relocate every 3 to 4 nights into a different room, which means a back-to-back process a little bit different, and I will talk about that as well. However, I actually got the ability, the chance to visit both sides. When I say both sides, it means that basically some of my suites were on the port side, some were on the starboard side. And I will say that it really depends where you're going, which port you're going, and nowadays you never really can predict how the ship is going to be docked at the terminal. I personally enjoyed more the starboard side, which I'm in right now, simply because when I was in Nassau, it's actually facing the new, about to be open Royal Caribbean development, so you're towards the ocean. I will say on Coco Cay, from all those cruises that I've been, you actually would prefer the other side, because for all of the starboard side always faced other balconies of the other ship that was there. So that's as far as the side goes. Now, as far as the location on the ship, I know that most people who are prone to motion of the vessel and stuff like that prefer the suite to be as central as possible. This is also more beneficial for those who prefer to walk less towards your room. Even though, let's face it, it's the Radiance class ships, Jewel of the Seas, there is no much really walking anywhere because the ship is not on the biggest size. However, I personally would recommend, as far as the location goes, to stay a little bit further from the center. My favorite locations of those suites was probably 1034, 1036, simply because you're a little bit further away from the centrum, which can be at times a little bit noisier during especially late evening times, because there is a lot of events going on in that centrum, in the very, very centrum on deck 4. So the sound and noise is kind of going up, and if you want to go to bed early, for example, this is something you potentially might hear if you're closer to the center. Now, staying in 1036, 1034, those were perfect for me because they were actually closer to the elevators on the front of the ship, which actually I prefer better because those, from my experience, are a little bit less busy. It's more private, it's quieter, so I did enjoy that. Those suites are also located somewhere in the area of, I think, underneath the solarium, or at least the spa, maybe. No, it's actually the solarium. And for that reason, I feel that there is actually less that you can hear from above. Now, we'll mention that this particular suite that you just saw in this tour, and the one I'm speaking from right now, this is 1048. Now, this suite is very central located, which is probably 3-4 suites from the very, very center. And even during the day, I can actually hear the events that are going on around the pool. Now, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not really, I don't take my naps at noon and stuff like that, but I can definitely hear the music and the party vibe that's going on the pool. If this is something you're prone to and you prefer them more quiet, I would definitely recommend to stay probably further away, so towards either the end or probably the front of the ship. Now let's talk about the suites differences. And I actually been asked a couple of times during this cruise from people I met, how come I don't do a video tour of every single suite I've been to, since the opportunity was definitely there. It was 4 of them. And the simple answer is the suites are pretty much identical. I didn't come with a proper plan whether I want to share with you all of them or just one. I just allowed myself to take it as it goes and see if it's actually worth to be mentioned how different they are. Now, if you ask me, I think they're all pretty much the same. The differences I noticed are probably a little bit on the end of how the tier and wear goes on them, and this is really not dependent on the cruise line, but more on us as guests and how we treat them. So some suites were in a little bit better condition, some in a little bit less. It's very minor. I wouldn't say this is something that's really worth mentioning, that certain suite is not suitable or vice versa. But One thing I will say, because the ship is a little bit older, there are some minor differences. And for example, you probably saw that when you access the bathroom, right next to the tub, on the usually the left-hand side, some suites actually had a metal handbar that could assist you with getting in and out of the tub. Some, like this one, 1048, does not. Now I tried to kind of like touch, the tile and see maybe it was there and removed and something like that. But no, I think that from it just wasn't there. If this is something that important to you, just keep in mind 1048 did not have that bar. 1036 did. 1034 did. I'm not sure why it's that. Another difference that I noticed, it's again in the bathroom, for example, the handheld shower. Some were much newer and actually were almost like a massage handheld shower and had like a rain function on it. The others, for example, did not. And I think that they basically replaced them as needed, and because the ship didn't go through full renovation, got the in and out, I think that they basically replaced things as needed. So for the most part, the suites are identical. There is no differences. They all have the same amenities. The only thing that I, for example, had to ask is on this specific room, the mattress was very, very firm. But again, it's Royal Caribbean. They're always very attentive. I asked my room attendant, and literally the same day there was kind of like a mattress topper provided, and it made the whole sleep much better. So again, if you are looking for a suite that is in a better condition or less condition, they're all pretty much the same. I know that there is only one grand suite that look completely different than the rest. I think it's 1600 if I'm not mistaken. This is the one that's facing the back. Unfortunately, as of yet, I never got the chance to see that particular one. But other than that, they all pretty much look the same. So now when we know where we would like to choose our suite at, as far as location goes and everything else, let's talk about the extras and the benefits that come in with booking the suites on board the Royal Caribbean. I want to clarify one thing, and I'm sure you guys know that, but unfortunately on Royal Caribbean, when you are in a smaller ships, which like Radiance class, the Grandeur of the Seas, and even a little bit bigger, the services and the amenities included are not exactly the same. For example, those suites do not include, and it doesn't matter by the way if you are in a Grand Suite or a Royal Suite, they don't include internet as of right now. They don't include coastal kitchen because simply there is no coastal kitchen on board. And the suite lounge sort of limited in certain hours. So basically what do you get? You do get an early embarkation, disembarkation, which is wonderful. You do get, of course, the espresso makers, the coffee makers in your rooms. You do have the suite lounge access, which is open 24/7. However, the concierge and the bartender there are basically in certain hours. So the concierge will be there from 8 a.m., I think, until about 10 or 7 to 10. The bar services will be from 5 to 8. There is a bar on this ship, which is located within the lounge, and the drinks are all included for you as a suite guest. You can basically get the service there. It's very nice, but it's on certain hours. During the day, other than small snacks, and when I say small snacks, it's basically cookies and some fruits, there is no much offerings there. There's also no one actually to be there. But I will say that I personally yet very much enjoy that lounge because the lounge here actually has a very nice outdoors area with their own sofas and armchairs, things like that, that actually allows you very, very conveniently to escape sometimes the crowds during the day. Now, it's not like you don't have the balcony in your own suite, which is right there, and it's wonderful and I love it. However, sometimes you want to be in a different location, you want to still feel that you are on a deck outside, and this area is definitely something that I did enjoy. The upgraded amenities in the rooms are of course always there. The Melon Goats is what Royal Caribbean uses right now, and of course you have the twice daily service, which is the the full service once a day and the turn down service. Now, there are a few things that actually happened to me during this cruise. Some, I would say, surprises that were delivered for my to my suite. Now, I'm not sure if this is something new for Royal Caribbean, if this is something that came back, or this is something that maybe was specific for the ship. It actually also didn't happen every single night, and it was randomly spaced between my 4 back-to-back stays. What I mean by that, I prepared a few items for you here, is first of all, one of the nights I was delivered this very cute thing. And this is basically your lavender pillow mist. It's a very cute thing, kind of like a spa vibe. It smells really good, smells like a lavender. And you're supposed to spray it on top of your pillow just for a good night fancy sleep. That's very cool. Another thing that was provided, and again, this is not every night, it just randomly happened here and there, are those cucumber patches. And again, friends, this is very, very cool. I never got those before. I'm not sure if this is, again, something new that Royal Caribbean is putting across the board for suite guests. If it is, thank you very much, Royal, and I really appreciate it. If not, maybe this is something that should be done, because it's really something very minor, but makes you feel so special and so luxurious. That's very nice. Last but not least, but it's my personal favor, is those sleepers. My friends, do you remember from back in the day, for those who are senior cruisers, do you remember for about 15 or 20 years ago, Royal Caribbean had those plushy sleepers in your suites with kind of like rubber sole inside? Those are those. It's exactly the same sleeper. I know that sometimes you are able to go online and pre-purchase them and stuff like that, but here I had sleepers every single suite I got. But again, there was no consistency. The first three weeks, or not weeks, but the first 3 cruises, they were just regular white unbranded sleepers. And then the last one was those. I'm super excited. I know it might be silly, but it's one of my favorite sleepers for any, vacation. And sometimes I actually purchase them just to, use them on board. But this time they were just here. So it's great, it's wonderful. I would appreciate some comments from you if you know if this is something back. How did you feel? Did they come? Did you receive those on your other cruises? Is this something that's really coming back on Royal Caribbean? If it is, it's really incredible. Well, now, friends, to the big question, which is basically the reason for booking all those 3-4 nights cruises stacked for 2 weeks. And this is to share with you the experience of the back-to-back process and what to expect. Let's start with the fact, and I will say it several times, I do recommend, if you can, to book yourself into one accommodation, whether it's suite or just a balcony room or any category of room, one for the duration of your cruise. Now, if you are adventurous and you just would like to explore a different accommodation and to see what's available, absolutely do that. But for your own convenience, I would recommend staying in one. You need to understand the process. So first of all, when we are in the back-to-back, you of course will receive the letter with all the instructions the night before. And basically, if you have any large luggage with you or large items, you need to leave those outside your room before 8 a.m. on the day of disembarkation of that cruise. So not the night before like with normal, but the day off in the morning. Your room attendant and the crew basically will take the luggage and transfer it to your new accommodation, new room. All you need to do is basically to show up, in this particular case, before 9 a.m. in the main dining room. Now, the designated area for back-to-back travelers can be changed, and of course they will tell you in that letter what time and where, but you have to show up there before 9 a.m. Keep in mind that your room, by the regulation, by rule, has to be still available before 8 a.m. for the crew to be able to prepare it for the next guest, which means that that hour between 8 and 9 a.m. you need to find yourself where to be or what to do. So this is one thing. Now, the process of the whole back-to-back really depends on the ship, or more actually depends on the port itself. Some ports will actually bring officers and services on board the cruise ship, and the whole process will go right here without you moving. In most cases in United States and Florida specifically, you will be gathering in that one particular space. Once you're there, they will of course acknowledge which room number you are in right now. They will escort and walk everybody out into the terminal, because you do have actually to go through basically those scanners and to check your passport and allow you to recheck again into your cruise ship. So you're basically going out, doing the whole circle of like eye recognition, and then going back in. Before you board in, they will also provide you your new room card. And of course, from that point on, you're on board. Welcome back. Now, I will say that this process takes about, I would say normally before 9:45, 9:50, it's when everybody were back on board. So it's not that long, it's not that bad, but if you're not a morning person, just prepare yourself mentally for that because it's a process. Now, as far as breakfast goes, if you're not a breakfast person, like I'm not, you basically will have a coffee option in that location. You will have some pastries, but that's about it. Now, do remember that when you're coming back from that back-to-back process and you are on the ship, let's say, just to be clear, 10 a.m., there is still nothing really open. So Windjammer is closed because, the previous cruise just ended. The pools probably will be closed for about an hour or so. And there's no really food and drinks and beverage options. What I mean is back to what I started with. If you had your own room, you basically didn't have to be inconvenienced, for example, of being in a ship that doesn't really provide any services or you have anywhere to be in really on your own privacy. Because once you're done, you could be back to your room, which is accessible and available for you all the time. This is your room for back-to-back. Now, if you're changing your rooms, remember that the new room will be ready after 1 or 1:30 p.m. Again, this time you need to kind of like pre-plan and remember that you won't have any room access until 1 or 1:30 p.m. And again, for those reasons, I recommend to stay in one room. Another thing, and this is actually something I tried to see how it's going to work for me, is the packing. Because who really wants to pack and unpack every 3 to 4 days? So this time I actually traveled with a carry-on and a backpack, and for the first time ever, with such long trip, I never really unpacked. Some shirts that I used and stuff like that, I put, on hangers or a laundry bag. But for the most part, I'm not sure if you can see right there, I lived out of a small carry-on suitcase that I always keep open, just in order not to pack and unpack every 3 to 4 days. It can be kind of like, unpleasant. So again, if you can do one room, this is wonderful. If you eventually can't, again, I'm here for 2 weeks. Everything is fine. It's not the end of the world. You definitely can do that. It's actually adventurous, but if you're looking for just the comfort, try to stick with the one room. Now let's talk about the 3 and 4 nights vibe. And another thing that it's a benefit of back-to-back, which I actually forgot to mention from before. So you do have basically special lunch for back-to-back cruisers, which is at 11:30 in the main dining. This actually happens on every single cruise when I ever been on back-to-back. And it is very nice because I feel like the offerings in that lunch are a little bit upscaled, a little bit higher than normal. I really enjoyed it. The food was incredible. The service was wonderful. And you kind of like, can chat to your fellow cruisers who did the back-to-back with you. But let's talk now about the whole vibe. And well, I called it basically the expectations of the 3 and 4 night cruises. As you know me, I usually prefer longer cruises, or let's say a week or so and above. And the reason for that is because I personally feel that those cruises allow you more chill, less stress, less, running on fast pace of cruising. The 3 and 4 nights are party cruises. The crowds that I see on board are basically 3 types. One would be people who literally work very, very hard. And unfortunately, in our time and era, it is very hard to take the time off. And as you always know, that's always what I say, a short cruise is much better than no cruise. And for that reason, I think that a lot of people who are working very, very hard during the week find those three nights during the weekend something, or actually the only thing that they can do in order to be on a cruise ship. And this is wonderful. Another part of people and the kind of people who actually came for a party, and those are bachelorettes party and things like that, or people who came for a booze cruise, as we say, or this is another kind. And the third kind, I guess, is, well, I probably can put myself there in this group now, is there are people who actually like to cruise and decided to do back-to-back because they don't like short cruise and they want to stay longer on ship. So I would say it's probably the Pinnacle members and people who just want to stay longer on a particular ship. Because there's so many kinds of people and because there is this party vibe, I will say that those short cruises are less of a chill cruise. This is less of a calm vibe. This is less of, let's cruise and take everything easy. No, those cruises are kind of like a party vibe. Now, if you are in a suite or if you are in a room and you don't mind being there, then of course you have the ability to escape all that and be in your own, oasis that you build for yourself. But the general vibe on the cruise, just be prepared for that, will be of go, go, go. Because within 3 to 4 days, the company, the Royal Caribbean, is trying to push everything into that short period of time, which is the Crazy Quest and every event we have, and shows and stuff like that. Speaking about shows, you also need to remember when you're doing back-to-backs that the shows probably will be repetitive every single cruise. Not that they're not good. However, how many times do you really want to watch the same show again? Now again, I really didn't care that. I had friends on board. I had amazing people that I met and meet across and during those itineraries and those trips. But you need to prepare that mentally and not be disappointed, because it's not like you're going to have a different experience every 3-4 nights. So this is something to keep in mind. I still, again, very much enjoyed it, but this is something you need to know. As far as the food goes, the food is very decent. There was nothing here that I would say was outstanding other. Probably that back-to-back lunch, because the food was very, very good. But because those are short cruises, the food is also kind of like catered and built for a short time, which means every 3 to 4 nights you will probably see the same menu over and over again. Nothing bad again, but this is something that I would like you to be prepared and kind of like match your expectations to what is offered. Let's talk about my personal preferences, because this is something that was asked, and I actually made a post on Facebook this morning, and I asked you guys to kind of address questions to me and tell me what you would like to learn about, what you would like me to talk about. Most of you said that you would like to know my preferences, whether I like short or longer cruises, backs-to-backs, and how it works. I will say that there is actually positive and negative for both. When you're doing the back-to-back on the bigger ships, you probably are going to have, well, because there's much more guests, you're going to have much more people with you on the back-to-back process. Which means that the more people there are, from my experience so far, the longer the process can take. Because again, we're talking about just the one team at the port, the cruise port, who are checking the documentation and the check-in and check-out process. So I think that for the ease and shortness of the process, I would probably say that the smaller ships are more convenient in that sense. Now, if you're not on rush on time and if you're not trying to be on board as quick as possible, then I don't think it matters much. It's pretty much the same thing. My personal preference, and I mentioned this before several times during this video, have a one room. Seriously, it's just going to make your life so much easier because there is nothing to worry. It's just going to make your whole experience of those 1 or 2 weeks, or as long as you stay, more consecutive. It's going to have less of this vibe of like my cruise is ending and another starts. It's just going to be one straight line of vacation. So this is my recommendation. As far as my preferences also go with the locations, I mentioned this before, I personally like my room quiet. I would stay probably a little bit further from the centrum, so the suites probably towards a little bit the front or more towards the back, but away from centrum, just not to hear some of the entertainment noise. Sometimes I go out and I return to room as late as 2 a.m. Sometimes I want to be in bed at 9 a.m. I mean, come on, I'm over 40. It is what it is. But yeah, those are my preferences. As far as dining goes, I don't personally think that if you're here for several back-to-backs, dining packages is something necessarily needed. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it's probably not necessarily needed. If you would like to try, there's basically 3 restaurants. There is the Italian, there's the Chops, and there is Izumi. So if you would like to try all of them, you can basically maybe purchase this package just for one of those segments. If you would like to just to go once or twice, just maybe pay, as you go. But I don't think that purchasing packages for all those consecutive cruises is something really necessarily that you need, simply because there is no too many specialty restaurants. Now, one of the benefits that you can actually have as a suite guest from Grand Suite and above is your own private dining inside of your suite from the main dining. So whatever is offered in main dining for dinner is actually can be served within your suite for you between those hours of operation, which is usually between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. So it's very convenient, which means you don't have to be with other people around tables if this is not your thing. You don't really have to choose the time. You just call them, and probably within like 30 minutes or so, your dinner will be served here in your suite. So this is very convenient. Those are perks I really, really enjoy because I like this. You know, it's when a ship is your home away from home, you do like your private time sometimes. Not that I don't like to see people or meet. It's incredible. I love to see my followers and like to meet new people. But sometimes you just need this time alone and recharge and just to be you and the ocean. And you know, there's really nothing better than that. Those are benefits and preferences that I personally have. Those new amenities, I really, really enjoy them. This is something that I'm really hoping that Royal Caribbean will stick to, and perhaps they will start giving some a little bit extra more for suite guests. Last but not least, let's sum it up. Do I recommend doing the back-to-backs? Do I recommend those ships? Do I recommend Rule of the Seas and Radiance class in general? And my tips and tricks for you how to make it better. I will not say anything much new here, but I will say this. Any cruise, even the shortest cruise in the world, in my opinion, is better than no cruise. I don't think, that being said, that the 3 and 4 nights are my personal favorite, again, because I like more spread, more chill cruising. But this is still wonderful and this is great. So the tip on this end will be, again, try and book the same accommodation. Try to stay in the same category of room, the same room specifically, because it will allow you to have more personal time with your room attendant. They will learn you better. They will have more time to cater to you. You will probably have less stress and less need of packing and packing and stuff like that. Talking about that, another tip would be, if you actually doing the back-to-backs and if you are switching accommodation, would be pack little, pack low. And the reason I'm saying is that because who really wants to deal with packing and packing? I will say that for me, the carry-on and the backpack was more than enough for those 2 weeks. Those ships nowadays are, for the most part, people don't go over the board with fancy and, you know, like suits and stuff like that. Some do, some don't. It's not really mandatory. I think as long as you're polite, as long as you're well-groomed and, you know, you just do and dress as you should, everything is fine. So there is no need to really overpack. Now, if you would like to go fancy and bring some extra stuff and feel royalty, this is incredible, and you do you. This is wonderful. I am just at this point, especially with the warm weather, not a fan of that. This is just not my thing. But yeah, pack low. Try to bring less things as you need. Remember, there's always laundry services. If you have the Crown and Anchor tiers, if you have Diamonds or Diamond Plus and Pinnacles, of course you have the free laundry here. If you don't, laundry is really not that expensive. Worst case scenario, I don't know, you're gonna pay $30, $40 for a bag of laundry and stuff like that. If you really need to wash something, it's doable. But I promise, it's gonna make your whole vacation, preparation for it, so much at ease. Without the need of constant thinking about how do I move my stuff? Did I bring enough? Didn't I bring enough? Things like that. So yeah, that is something that I highly would recommend. Another thing that I would recommend is to make sure that your room attendant knows what you like, don't like, or need. And the reason I'm saying that, because along the years and the time I'm cruising, I meet a lot of people who are unhappy with certain things or complain about certain stuff. I received this, I didn't get that, you know. The complaints are valid, and I'm sure that none of us actually just waking up in the morning and just want, oh my God, I just want to complain. However, I will say one thing. In our day and time, at least on board the Royal Caribbean, the room attendants work so hard. They have so many rooms. There are very few of them. With the suites, they have to provide twice daily services. And in betweens, like right now I'm in NASA, they have the training and everything, and they still have to be on those times and time frames. It is very hard to make everybody happy because sometimes they just miss things, and this is normal. We're all human beings. So all I'm saying, and this is not a tip or trick, but this is something, just a reminder. If you're not happy about something, let's say you enter the room and you found something you don't like, or something doesn't work, or something of that sort, Be courteous, be polite, address it with your room attendant or the front desk, and I can promise you, things normally don't being ignored. I'm not saying that they can always be fixed. I'm not saying that they always can be improved or be exactly what you want, but they will at least try to make sure that you're happy. So don't be afraid to speak up, as long as you do it in a polite manner and respectful manner. Speak up, tell them what you want, tell them what you expect. And I'll give you, for example, an example. All those suites that I moved had, I would say it's sort of a mattress topper or something like that, and I actually never asked for it, but it was there. Maybe guests before, stuff like that. This particular room, the 1048, did not have it. Now, I don't know if it's normal or not normal, and I spent the one night, and you get to the night and to the bed, and you're like, ugh, this is kind of like stiff. But the next morning, I told Leo, I told my room attendant, and I was like, well, if you happen to have any toppers, can you put something? Because it was really hard. No questions asked. Literally the same day it was there. And it was a great night since then. So again, don't be afraid to address what you would like to address. Share, speak, ask. Because those people are really here to make us happy. Well, my friends, this was it. I know there was a lot. I'm sure there were things that you probably still have questions for and I didn't talk about, but this video shouldn't run for hours. So I hope I could cover most of the important things. I'm very excited for tomorrow, really. I haven't been to the beach club, as I mentioned before, for quite some time. And I'm very excited for that. And that's the reason this video is happening today and not tomorrow, because I really want to enjoy that place. What else? I actually, as always, would want to really thank you for being here, for dedicating your personal time to just take the time and watch me taking adventures. I do really hope that those videos and this information helps you to make better choices and to make your vacation incredible and as memorable as possible. Of course, as always, if you have questions, if you would like to share something, if you want to educate in something, please don't forget to do that below. Don't forget to subscribe, to share my videos so I can keep doing what I like to do most. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. I'm your Hedge.